In cool, wet climates, apple trees face a quiet, persistent threat: European canker. This fungal infection creeps into healthy wood, cuts off the nutrient supply, and chokes out entire branches until the tree dies. To save your trees, you need to know exactly how to spot this pathogen, safely cut it out, and apply the right defenses to keep it from coming back. Before we start cutting, gather your equipment. You need pruning shears or a saw, 70% isopropyl alcohol, a pruning wound protectant, and bags for debris disposal. Step 1 is checking the forecast. You must wait for a completely dry weather window before making any cuts. Moisture allows the fungal spores to travel. If you prune in the rain, water droplets will carry the pathogens straight from your cuts to the rest of the orchard, turning a rescue operation into a superspreader event. Once the weather is dry, head into the orchard and inspect the wood. Focus your attention on old leaf stars, previous pruning wounds, and any bark split by frost. This image shows a classic European canker symptom. Notice the dark reddish-brown lesion on the living branch. The sunken bark forms a distinct elliptical shape. Looking at this cross-section, you can see the internal damage. The wood is discolored reddish-brown, and those concentric rings indicate a perennial cycle. The tree tried to heal itself with new callus tissue, and the fungus killed that new tissue year after year. For secondary confirmation, look at the foliage physically above the suspected lesion. If the branch is girdled, the leaves and shoots further out will wilt and die back. When you find an active canker, stop and sanitize your pruning tools. Thoroughly wipe your blades with 70. Combining careful visual diagnosis with strict tool hygiene guarantees we're actually treating the disease, rather than doing the pathogen's job for it. Now establish the cut line. Find the lowest visible edge of the canker on the bark and measure several inches down the branch into healthy-looking wood. For heavy branches, use the 3-cut method to prevent bark tearing. Make an undercut first, then a top cut to drop the weight. Finally, make a flush cut against the branch collar. This allows the tree to rapidly grow a protective callus. Inspect the wood exposed by your final cut. Unlike the reddish-brown rot we saw earlier, this internal tissue must be completely clean, creamy white, and free of any dark spots. Gather every piece of wood you just pruned and remove them from the orchard immediately. Never leave diseased branches on the ground, and do not put them in compost piles. The fungus survives in dead wood and will continue ejecting spores into the air. The physical pruning step is done, but the biological hazard remains until you permanently remove or burn the infected debris off-site. Go back to the fresh flush cut on the tree and immediately apply a registered pruning wound protectant. You can also use a trichoderma-based bio-fungicide. This introduces a beneficial fungus that actively colonizes the fresh wood, eating available nutrients so the European canker spores starve. Pruning removes the existing infection, but your tree has a massive vulnerability approaching. During autumn, every single dropping leaf leaves behind an open micro-wound. To defend against this, use preventative copper-based fungicide sprays. This timeline shows the critical applications: early, mid, and late leaf fall. Spraying at these intervals coats the new leaf scars, creating a chemical barrier that blocks airborne spores from taking root. Your pruning saw stops the cankers that are already there. Your chemical and biological protectants ensure new cankers never form. By clearing the infected wood and spraying the leaf scars, you have eliminated the active sources of the fungus from your immediate orchard. But European canker can hide. The pathogen often sits completely latent inside healthy-looking tree tissue for up to 3 years before a lesion appears, making regular scouting mandatory. If you are planning to expand your orchard, factor in disease resistance. Avoid highly susceptible apple varieties like Gala or Braeburn, and plant trees grafted onto resistant rootstocks. You also need to manage your soil nutrition carefully. Pumping the ground full of heavy nitrogen fertilizer forces the tree to push out rapid, weak vegetative growth, which the fungus easily infects. Defeating European canker requires vigilance. Stick to your scavenging routine, make clean surgical cuts when needed, and manage your planting environment.